Hi, everyone. Welcome to Gratituesday. My name is Raina, and I am a recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center. Today, we're going to talk about hope in recovery. This is one of those things that I know, like when we're using, we feel like there's no hope at all, right? Like we're just doomed, and this is how our lives are going to be, and like nothing good is ever going to happen again. And then when we come into recovery, we start to see like little bits of hope. Little things that like, okay, I can do this. And it's, in my opinion, one of the things that really keeps me going in recovery is knowing that there's hope for a better life. And then being able to share that hope with someone else. Then being able to see that, yes, I was in the same position as you, and now I'm doing this. It can happen for you too. So we're going to look at this article called Hope in Recovery, Navigating the Journey with Optimism and Resilience. And this is from recovery.com. So it starts out by saying hope is talked about so broadly in recovery circles that it often comes across as cliche. But hope is not just a fluffy feeling. It's a powerful force that gives you the motivation to change your life and the strength to sustain those changes. In the depths of addiction and depression, hope often gets lost. Finding it again is a pivotal experience that can change your journey for the better. We're going to explore the science-backed proof behind the power of hope in recovery and hear stories from people for whom hope has a driving force for lasting change. And if you are in recovery, you are one of these people with hope that can make a driving and lasting change, not in your own life, but in someone else's, to give them the courage to do the same. So the first thing we're going to look at is the cognitive aspects of hope. So hope isn't just blind optimism. It's a powerful cognitive tool that's tied to our thoughts and beliefs. Hoping is a human capacity with varying affective, cognitive, and behavioral dimensions, says researchers on the cognitive aspect of hope among patients dying of cancer. Hope helps us think more positively, framing challenges as opportunities for growth and focusing on past succession as proof for your strength grows your confidence in your ability to succeed. Hope helps you set goals and work toward them, and that's an important part of charting your course to recovery. And, when I think about this, that, hope helps us think more positively. It really does. If we are feeling hopeless, it's almost impossible to find a positive thought or a positive aspect to our lives. But having that hope can really help change that. I talk a lot about like flipping the switch from the negative to the positive in recovery. And I mention that a lot because it's really an important aspect of it. Being able to go from that consistent negative thought process and into a more positive thought process is going to make all the difference in your recovery. So hope helps you set goals and work toward them, and that's an important part of charting your course of recovery. As you progress, achieving your goals, however small, reinforces your sense of accomplishment and belief in yourself. And that goes a long way in empowering you to regain control of your life. The more you see things happening in your life in a positive aspect, the more you become positive yourself. And, it says it doesn't have to be major things. It can just be small things. So, like we're going to talk about a little bit about goal setting and how, setting smaller goals is more advantageous. So when you see one of those little goals achieved, like you start realizing that like there is like a better way, things can change. So now we'll look at the emotional aspects of hope. The recovery journey is full of significant challenges. It forces us to face avoided aspects of ourselves and confront our deeply held fears. Hope is what allows us to get through those times without giving in to despair. It is very easy to let despair take over, to let the negative or the sadness, even like the depression or anxiety. It's very easy to let that swallow you up. And having a little bit of hope, even if it's not something that you're seeing in yourself yet, but you're seeing it in others, can be, the catalyst to help you get through till you can find the hope in yourself. We always say, like, we lead by example. We'll love you until you love yourself. And it's really true to have, like, a support system that is there for you and continually shows you that there's a better way. It's contagious. You'll start to see it as well. So it goes on to say that sticking with the process when times get tough builds your resilience and emotional intelligence. Through that process, you'll grow your ability to understand the emotional complexity of life. And it is complex. You're going to start feeling all different kinds of emotions that you probably haven't felt in years in recovery, and like don't know what to do with, because we squashed all that when we're using. We didn't want to feel any of that. So we used to, hide it and not deal with it. So, you take the drugs away as your coping mechanism, and now here you are with all these emotions, you don't know what to do with them. But having a little bit of hope can help you with that process. It can help you accept those emotions and feelings, and it can help you find better ways to cope with them. You can hold both things to be true at once, acknowledging the reality of your current situation and knowing that it can change. Hope gives us the persistence that recovery requires. So, you're going to have times where, things aren't going well. And that's true in anyone's life. No one's life is just picture perfect and everything's easy. There are always challenges. What makes the difference between somebody who's in recovery is that, you accept that there are challenges, and you acknowledge that, yes, this is what's going on in my life. However, it's not always going to be this way. I'm going to get through this. And, those little positive affirmations can really help in those situations. And the more that you see yourself overcoming things, the easier it's going to be when something else comes up. So let's talk about the social aspects of hope. Hope thrives in connection. Surrounding yourself with positive people who believe in your ability to heal keeps you on track towards your recovery goals. This is so true. A support system is so important in recovery. And you might come into recovery with no support system. But if you reach out to our center, we can help you, be part of that support system and guide you to find other aspects. There are 12-step meetings. There are religious-based meetings. There are just so many different things out there that, can be of support to you. And you'll find your people. And those people are going to be the ones that hold you up when you feel like you can't stand on your own. And it's really important to have some of that surrounding you to keep that positive vibe going. So addiction is often called a disease of isolation. Recovery, on the hand, is a chance to build community with those who share your struggles and support you on your path. These connections provide a safe space to talk through your challenges, celebrate your wins, and receive encouragement during trying times. And those things that, we do in active addiction really close us off to the rest of the world. We may have people that we use with, we may still have connections with our families, but even when we're not physically isolating, we're mentally and emotionally isolating. And I feel like that is like a stronger aspect of addiction than just, being on your own. Because when you feel like you are the only one, that nobody else will understand, you push yourself away from everything that is, trying to help you. So once you can see that there are other people out there that have the same struggles. When I came in recovery, I started with a 12-step fellowship. And one of the things I heard a lot was, you're going to sit in here and these meetings and people are going to talk about their experience. And eventually you are going to hear someone share your story. And it's true. It's so true. Like I was in a meeting once and someone started to share their story and it was so much like mine. And it made me feel less alone, less isolated, and gave me more hope. Because if that person went through the same things that I went through and has come out on the other side, then, I can do that as well. So seeing others' success in recovery gives us hope that the same is possible for us. Just because you feel awful at a given time does not mean you won't feel happy and hopeful at a later stage. And this is another thing that, I am a firm believer in. To not make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings or a temporary situation. The feelings will pass. The situation will change. If we make the decision to go out and use because of something that's happening right then and there in our lives, now we're putting ourselves in a position to not only go, back out and use and get caught up in the life and lose everything that we have, we're also taking the chance on losing our lives. Because let's be, honest, the way things are today, you're more likely to lose your life than you are, in the past. So, when things are bad, like that's not an option. Like I would just tell you straight, like using is not an option. Talking to people that support you and care about you, attending a meeting, coming into the center and allowing us to support you. Those are options. And those are things that are going to help you overcome, these temporary aspects of your life. So there's a gentleman named Anthony who was hospitalized for severe mania and psychosis. Describes how he eventually found hope and accepting support from others. So Anthony says, earlier in my illness, I felt like I was being badgered against my will and complained a lot and saw things negatively. Whereas once I started to believe that other people could help me feel better and had good intentions, I started to perceive my situation in a more positive and hopeful way. I began to look at opportunities for the future rather than concentrating on regrets and resentments. We often see self-reliance as a good thing. With mental illness, it is hard to accept sometimes that we cannot fix things ourselves and that there is nothing wrong in needing and accepting the help of others. That is so true. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're incapable. Asking for help is a sign of strength because it's not easy for most of us to do. I still, 6 years and some change later, have trouble asking for help. I'm like, I'll do it. I can take care of it. And in reality, I'm just causing stress on myself and the people around me. So I've learned to ask for help. I don't always do it, not perfect, but if you can start to lean on people who are there for you, you'll start to open up to the fact that other people can help you. So hopelessness is a main feature of struggles with mental health and addiction. But Anthony reminds us that feeling doesn't last forever. For anyone suffering from a similar condition, he says, I would say that just because you feel awful at any given time does not mean you won't feel happy and hopeful at a later stage. And it's very true. It is so true. I know that, we talk about, not being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but the light is there. You just have to keep pushing and keep going, to come out on the other side. So we're going to talk about strategies for cultivating hope. So hope has clear benefits for recovery. So how can you invite more of it into your life? By setting realistic goals. So this is what I mentioned a little bit earlier, that, setting smaller goals and having goals in general helps you, find ways to move forward without overwhelming yourself, because it's very easy for us to, say, okay, I want this, 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 and this, I want it all and I want it now. That's just the thought pattern of addiction. But in life, it doesn't happen that way. And it can be very frustrating when we set out to achieve all these things and they're not happening right away. It can, make, people want to like backtrack. Like, oh, it's not working, I'm done. I'm just going to go back to using, or I can't do this, like nothing's happening. We just have to have some patience and realize that, getting to the big picture, you have to go through certain steps, to get upstairs. You can't just jump. It doesn't work that way. So according to scientists, hope is commonly divided into two constructs: agency, defined as a goals-directed energy, and pathways, defined as the ability to create paths to a goal. In other words, hope can be broken down into two parts: the agency, which is putting in the effort to achieve your goal, and then the pathways, creating the strategies you need to succeed. And you have to put in some effort and not lose hope when you're doing this, because we might have that small goal and we're having trouble achieving it. Like, let's just say with finding a job, we're not going to put any expectations on finding the best job with the most money. We're going to look at just trying to find work. Because if we start saying, well, I don't want to do that, and I'm worth more than what they want to pay, all these things that basically are preventing us from finding a job. Sometimes we just have to settle for okay, or something that we may not want to do, but just taking a job and starting to work until something else comes along will be like that, like step. Okay, I may not have the job of my dreams, but I have an income. I can start to, provide for myself. So we have to look at all aspects of it. So when we start looking at all these negative things, it pushes us back. We have to, make the effort to be patient, to be, understanding and accepting of, where we are, and, work with what we have. So to feel hopeful about recovery, you need the drive and a plan to feel confident about reaching your goals. Hope naturally grows when you feel a sense of accomplishment. Setting realistic goals is a great way to do that. You want to start by identifying your long-term goals. What does success in recovery look like for you? So what is that long-term goal? We'll say with the work. What is it you want to do? We look, oh, I need a job, I want a job, I want to work. But some of us say, okay, well, look at what career you want to do. So like for us, myself, or becoming a recovery coach, there were steps that I had to do to reach that long-term goal. There were classes that I had to take. There were hours that I needed to get working in the field to become certified. So there were people that I needed to help me with registering and making sure I was doing the paperwork correctly. So these are all the small goals that went into my goal of becoming a recovery coach. I didn't just say, okay, this is what I want to do, and I am one. You know what I mean? So I looked at that big goal and then what I had to do to achieve it in smaller steps. That's what the next part says. Break these down into smaller, achievable milestones. So for example, instead of setting a vague goal like improving your sleep, you can aim to go to bed 30 minutes earlier 3 nights a week. As you achieve these smaller goals, celebrate your progress. These victories are the building blocks of long-term success, and each one reinforces your self-belief. Setbacks are a normal part of the journey. Let me say that again. Setbacks are a normal part of the journey. Things are going to come up. It could be like, use the example of, like just did with becoming a recovery coach. I had gotten a job and I was not getting any hours. So it felt like I wasn't achieving what I needed to do. So, okay, that's the situation. Let me look into somewhere where I can get more hours, where this will be more beneficial to me reaching my goal. So, there's going to be challenges in everything we do. So if you can look at those and not let them prevent you from reaching your goals, then you're going to be just fine. So again, setbacks are normal, but progress is made via consistent small steps over time. And consistency is key. You just keep going. You keep putting one foot in front of the other, taking it day by day. Just like in, recovery, we need to look at things day to day, because we can't change what happened yesterday and we can't prevent what's going to happen tomorrow. So if we just focus on where we are and what we are dealing with at that time, it makes things easier to move forward. Now let's look at seeking inspiration. Hope thrives on inspiration, and we need input to feel inspired. Look for stories of recovery. Documentaries or memoirs of people who overcame addiction offer powerful messages of possibility. The universal stories of humanity found in literature and art speak to us in ways the soul understands. This is very true. Like, we have a television in our living room here at the center, and we're always putting on some sort of like recovery inspiration. And this is like interviews with people who have overcome addiction, and different ways, like TED Talks. There's just so many different things out there that you can access online. The meetings that we put out here, our recovery support meetings, are a part of an inspiration for people. So, learning more about recovery, learning about the different things that we need to do to achieve recovery, and with us sharing our stories with you. So the most powerful inspiration, however, often comes from those closest to us. Talk to friends or family members who have faced challenges and emerged stronger. Surround yourself with positive influence that ignite your inner light and remind you of how bright your future can be. And this is one of those things that's really big in support groups and 12-step groups is, listening for the inspiration in someone else's story, and knowing that like we're going to be able to, achieve what we want to achieve as well. So, and you can find inspiration in so many things. Music is a big one. There's a lot of music out there now about addiction. A lot of people in the industry, in entertainment, coming forward and sharing their experiences through television, movies, music, all these different like ways that we can find inspiration. I know there's some like songs that when they come up on my playlist, it's one of those things that like reminds me that, you're doing this. And like anything that just makes you realize that like, yes, like I can achieve this. And then the last part we're going to look at today is building a supportive community. And I always reinforce how important this is. We can't do this on our own. We need a supportive community. And really what community you choose in your life or whatever works for you. And you just, go with whatever's going to help you do and achieve what you need to. So if your close relationships are strained, you can also find community in group therapy, recovery communities, or support groups in person or online that connect you with others on a similar path. Witnessing others' struggles and triumphs is a powerful reminder that you are not alone. And it's very true. Even if you don't participate or, you're just not ready to, being in a community of people who are recovering is such a powerful force. There'll be a day that I am just having the most awful day and I'm just not happy and I'm tired. And I go into a meeting and I just instantly feel this like love and camaraderie. And just the atmosphere is uplifting. And wherever you can find something like that, like hold on to it. It's going to be such an important strength in your recovery. Now, we can also look at therapy, which is a confidential space to explore challenges, developing coping mechanisms, and build emotional resilience. A qualified therapist can also help you navigate setbacks and cultivate a positive outlook as you stay focused on recovery. Listen, for me, I did 12-step and I do therapy. I did an IOP program in a mental health capacity that also, focused on addiction, but it really helps me find good ways of coping with, the aspects of recovery and life in general. And it's a place where if you're just not really feeling safe to share what you're going through with a large group of people, the one-on-one aspect can be very beneficial for you. And knowing that that person legally cannot say what you tell them, like can't like talk about it, can be a really great way to help us build trust with people. So you can also seek mentorship from someone with more time in recovery. Their guidance, encouragement, and lived experience can be invaluable assets to your journey. Some recovery communities like 12-step groups build mentorship into their program. This is a great, having someone who you can trust, who is there to guide you, who can help you navigate, life and in recovery is so valuable. Like in my case, I have a sponsor and she has been such a driving force in the positive aspects in me in recovery. She's someone that I can talk to, who I know will not repeat anything that I say, that accepts me for who I am no matter what. And that really makes me feel like who I am is okay. I'm not judged. I'm not looked down upon. And those things can just be such a positive reinforcement in recovery. So I definitely, recommend getting a sponsor or a mentor, or it could be, someone in your church, just someone that you can go to where you don't feel judged and you can find, that trust. So thank you for joining us today. I hope I gave you guys a little bit of hope, because it is out there and you can achieve it as well as I have, as well as anybody else in recovery has. And always, if you need that support and, to have other people around you, please come in, talk to us, join one of our support groups in person, here online with us. Because we are here to help. We are here to give you hope. All right. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next time.